How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video for you guys, and with this one we are continuing with talking about movies related to Alien and Predator, or at least mostly for the Alien franchise. And with this one we'll be continuing with the next film on the list, or at least my list anyway, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which was directed by Colin Strauss and Greg Strauss and written by Shane Salerno, Dan O'Bannon, and Ronald Chazette. Now, to an extent, this is a follow-up to the previous film, Alien vs. Predator, but the real question is, does it hold up? Is it better? Does it do something new? Well, to some extent, it does do something new, but does that help the film? So, without further delay, why don't we go right into it? So, this film continues the events of what happened with Alien vs. Predator. The Predator ship leaves Earth. The Predator that we followed near the very end of the movie that was killed was infected with a alien embryo, thus creating a alien predator hybrid. The ship is jettisoned to Earth, and right off the bat things start happening with the alien. In fact, I kind of feel sorry for one of the side characters, or I guess cannon fodder I'm going to call him now, because to an extent, not only is it like a grown man, but also a child, which I don't think we've ever seen a child get infected. So it just goes to show, like, right off the bat that they're serious about some of the things that they're doing. And again, when it comes down to it, I think, if anything, the best part is the fact that they, especially with story, that they don't wait till like halfway through the film in order to do anything with the alien. Right off the bat, people are being infected with the alien. First, it was, again, this father and son that are hunting. Next are these hobos that are living in a sewer. And just slowly but surely, people are being infected and killed off one by one. And on top it off, we also have a predator who kind of acts as sort of like a damage control, or a person who basically has to cover up the existence of the predator as well as the alien, using some kind of liquid that basically dissolves any sort of matter from existence. All in all, it's pretty cool, though to an extent the only thing that is cool like is literally the fight between, or at least the bits with the alien and the alien predator and the predator. They try to shoehorn a bit of drama when it comes down to our side characters or human characters, but honestly, I just couldn't care less, since unfortunately with these particular movies, I just consider them as cannon fodder at this point, whether being eaten by the alien or target practice for the predator. I just couldn't bring myself to care about any of them. And it's the way it's set up is like, okay, so I guess to name a few, we have a guy who apparently is having trouble with school, so he has to take on a pizza job where he pisses off the jock and also is trying to get with the girlfriend. We have a guy who just, I guess, was released from prison. No context as to why he went to prison, but just, random thing that honestly people would be scratching their heads about. That, yeah, he went to prison for something. We don't know. A woman who, I'm assuming, got back from deployment and is having to deal with her estranged daughter, and so on. But again, when it comes down to the side stories, it's just, I don't care, because the main focus is literally the alien and the predator. I know I sound like a dick saying that, but to an extent, the main focus is, once again, Alien versus Predator. And especially in a movie where, there's going to be a large body count, the motivations of some of these people are going to be irrelevant towards the very, very end. So to a degree, and especially since they try to put in so much of that, I just couldn't bring myself to like it at all. But I will give the story credit right off the bat. They don't even tiptoe with the Alien and Predator, which is good. Which is exactly what, to an extent, what we should have gotten for Alien vs. Predator. But again, the side shit I just couldn't take. So, unfortunately, there's not much I can say especially to characters, because to an extent, I think I've made my point during the story section of this review. And to top it off, we also don't have any characters that are necessarily interesting, to say the least. Not even having a knockoff of Ripley, for that matter. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this particular section and go straight to effects. So, kind of like its predecessor, Alien vs. Predator Requiem's effects are decent. Again, it's a decent blend of CG and practical effects. The costume design for the aliens looks really nice. And if I may, the Predator alien that we are introduced to this time around is an excellent blend of what we see for, I guess if anything, what we see for the Predator and Alien basically becoming one creature. And it's always been cool, especially with the lore for this franchise, or at least, let's face it, the Alien franchise, to see the alien reproduce from another species. We've seen that in Alien 3 with a dog, or a cow, for that matter, depending on which version you're watching. But to an extent, that one was, let's face it, kind of a disappointment. But to a degree, it's always been interesting to see what the alien, or what kind of attributes it would receive from the host body that it comes from. So to a degree, the idea of the Predator alien was pretty cool. And to top it off, especially in story stuff, and what it's capable of adds more to the terror. I don't want to go into too much. I mean, to an extent, I would say just watch it once so you guys can have an understanding of what I'm talking about. But there is one particular thing about the Predator alien that makes it a lot more terrifying than what, if anything, what we've seen in previous Alien films. But that's just my thoughts. So I should mention that when it comes to music, or at least the score, it's done by Brian Taylor, who, again, does the score for Requiem. And as a lot of the stuff, especially for Requiem or Alien for that matter, it's always nice to know that, especially when it comes down to scores, they know where to add the score, or at what points to either create or help create tension, or kind of have a calming situation, which is exactly what the score does for this particular film. Not much I can say, but they did a decent job with the score here. Okay, so final thoughts. People are not going to be happy with what I have to say. But then again, it is my personal opinion. So, if you have any thoughts, leave in the comments down below. So, AVP Requiem. And forgive me again. I'm being harsh. If it seems like I'm being harsh, again, it's just my opinion. Story-wise, I'm glad that they put more focus on the alien and predator, like right off the bat, showing us what we want for this particular franchise, and considering, their names are on the freaking title. Though to an extent they try to oversaturate with the pointless daily day problems for the human characters, which is irrelevant near the very end. Characters are boring, bland, and unfortunately just, again, cannon fodder to me when it comes down to this particular movie. Effects done really well, very decent, especially again with what we get to see and witness with the Predator alien, which is pretty cool. Music done by Brian Tyler is done well and is as needed for the emotional moments, or if anything, the high and low moments of the film. So with that being said, it's a mixed bag, but all in all, I will admit that there are some good moments, and then I will admit that there are moments where I just kind of shrugged my head and wanted to move on. But regardless, it is a film that, honestly, anybody could take, each, to each their own, I guess, to an extent. So with that, my personal opinion, especially for, this review, Alien vs. Predator is not, honestly, is not, to an extent, the best movie. There are points that bored me, but to an extent, when it gets to the Alien Predator, that was what I focused on, and honestly, it was pretty good to see that. So, with that being said, my personal opinion, Alien vs. Predator Requiem from 2007, in my rating, receives a 4 out of 10. It's not the best film, but for the thing that actually has to focus on, it does well. So, to a degree, 4 out of 10 for this review. And with that, that was my review of Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one, take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.